Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Hardfire Television on the Brooklyn Free Speech Network. Today's a special episode on Hardfire. I'll be talking. My name's Cameron Weber. I'm your host. I'll be talking with Gary Popkin, who's
Cameron.
who's the founder of the program, who established the program and of Hardfire program, and has made over 100, has produced and edited and directed more than 100 shows. Libertarian issues in focus. So this is a history of Hardfire, or an oral history of the show, and I guess of the libertarian movement in Brooklyn as well.
Oh, right. That's right. I also was one of the founders of one of the incarnations of the Brooklyn Libertarian Party.
Yeah, you had the original incarnation of the Brooklyn Libertarian Party.
There was one before when I was just a youth.
Yeah.
But it fizzled out. But then later on, I don't remember how many years ago, we started it up again.
Yeah.
It got chartered again by the state party.
Yeah. So, is what got you started on the Hardfire? What got you start? How did you choose the name? Why did you start it? How did you learn about the BCAT, now BRIC Studios?
Oh my goodness, a lot of questions.
Yeah, just what got you started, and when and how and why?
As I was nearing retirement, I had been thinking about trying to do a public access TV show focused on liberty issues, on libertarianism. I don't know how or when I heard about public access.
Yeah.
But
did you have Time Warner cable or some cable at your house?
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
You watched a lot of tennis, right? So you were.
Oh, I have Time Warner cable.
Like a tennis network or something.
So when I retired,
Yeah.
I decided to. I retired from teaching around 2005 or thereabouts. I don't remember exactly. I'm so old now.
That's about when I left Washington, D.C., yeah.
So I got into it, and the studio here is paid for by by the cable company subscription, by contributions from the cable companies, and
through taxes
and taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. The cable companies get the money through taxes to give to the public access facilities.
Because the cables are given a monopoly, then therefore they fund alternative media, which is what we're doing,
which is
the Hardfire.
Which is us. Yes, that's right. And so when we started up, we wanted a show something like Hardball or Crossfire.
Yeah.
And so we were scrambling around for a name, and we thought that Crossballs or Crossball would be good. Crossballs better, but that had already been used by Comedy Central. So
and I noticed that you did some comedy sketches also, some libertarian-based comedy sketches.
That's right. Probably
several of them, many of them.
If our viewers will go to YouTube and search on, let's say, Hardfire Comedy.
Brooklyn. You should Hardfire Comedy,
probably
and Gary
Popkin.
And Gary Popkin.
Yeah,
you can find it on YouTube very easily.
Yeah, that's it. Searching just on Hardfire brings up not only the 150 shows or so, but also some other companies that have Hardfire in their name. So we did settle on Hardfire.
I love police abuse and military action also, when you type in Hardfire. Yeah, you get that.
Somebody suggested that we call the show the O'Balls Factor. Or anything with balls in it, but we settled on
Why is
Hardfire.
that? Why is that? Because you take a bold position, or what?
No, from Crossballs. From the Comedy Central Crossballs. We would have the O'Balls Factor.
I see.
And so I went through the training that the
community producer
here,
training.
That's right. It became
in order to be able to use the equipment, you have to.
In order to be able to touch the equipment, one has to be certified here. They don't want their equipment broken by people who don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
So the equipment being damaged by people who do is all right.
Yeah. So I started
No one
taking
o-
over producing the show, and I said I was taking over the Hardfire show, producing it. Thank you for coming back to direct it. Um, and your name was held with respect here because of your ability to make shows.
Yes,
Not
that's right.
the
That's right.
quantity and variety, as well as the technical ability that you brought to the studio.
Oh, technical ability.
Yeah, because of
And-
producing so many shows, you've trained a lot of people and given a lot of people good ideas on their own shows and their own
yeah,
abilities to use the
wonderful.
equipment
Good
I
to
found here.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of egos here, and one of my skills was
Yeah, everybody wants to be on TV, right?
avoiding them. Was avoiding the egos and
Yeah.
working with people who wanted to cooperate, and so I was able to build.
And
a
you also had
crew.
catering too, right? You
Oh,
got
yes.
sponsors
Oh, that's
to
right.
do
That's right.
to do
Yeah.
catering. You got
That's right. Local restaurants, in exchange for feeding the cast and crew, they were given a plug on the show within the legal limits
Right.
of public access plugs.
uh-huh.
We couldn't say that they were the best Italian restaurant
Oh.
in Park Slope,
Oh,
and we couldn't say call now. We couldn't say
Oh, right.
order now.
Sponsored by.
We could say that.
We
that's right.
we should have a Coke and a Pepsi right here, and then maybe a Cinnabon. Have various product placements, and then we could do that. But
Well, why don't you tell the viewers, some of the freedom topics
Oh, yeah.
that Hardfire covered?
well, I wanted to ask about. Here we are. Yeah, we'll do that. But here we are in a very Democrat city, a Democrat party. There's a two-party system, Republicans and Democrats. And you come into a very Democrat city, like most big cities in the United States are Democrat-oriented, Democrat Party-oriented, coming with liberty issues and libertarian issues. How did that go over? How were you able to work with these people who weren't used to these types of ideas, like most Americans aren't used to these types of ideas because the third party political parties are suppressed. So how was it getting over the ideas to the staff and crew here? How was that? Was that slow going, or was that you found people amenable?
That's an interesting question because when we're working in the control room,
Yeah.
members of the crew will often make comments
Yeah,
on
yeah.
what's going on camera.
Right.
And the crew that I put together was really a loyal crew. They liked working on my shows. It's all volunteer, all working on people's shows here.
Yeah, I
It's all
did a couple
volunteer,
shows, and then people would come up and talk to you afterward about the
yeah,
ideas
that's right.
and learn more and
lot
more.
a lot of crew members work grudgingly on people's shows, but the people
Yeah.
I found seemed to want to work on my shows.
Yeah.
And indeed, after they listened to enough liberty discussions, they did make some remarks that reflected that they were understanding
Yeah.
the idea of government coercion and the idea of people behaving in a voluntary manner, people transacting with other people
Which is exactly what you were
a
doing in the
vol-
studio.
voluntary manner. Oh, that's right. That's right.
So,
That's
so
right.
let me ask you let me ask you this kind of hard fire question. So here you are in the studio putting on a libertarian show, criticizing the coercive and oftentimes violent role of the state through the monopoly power to tax people. And here we are in a tax-funded studio, arguing against too high of taxes. Is that just
sure. Well, look,
an irony
well,
or
no, if the thief is giving out goodies, I think it's okay for us to take some.
Yeah, it's free
because,
speech.
Because the thief is going to be giving out goodies regardless of our behavior,
Yeah.
and we're really just getting back something of what has been stolen from us. For example, I pay Time Warner Cable.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you steal your cable?
No, I don't have cable.
Oh. So I pay Time Warner Cable, and now I am just getting back some of what they
You are,
extorted
exactly.
from me.
Exactly. So you wanted me to just discuss some of these.
Some of the topics.
Yeah, I put over this.
Some of the liberty topics.
Let's see, just
that
randomly
we
some
have
things
covered.
that you. So Gary oftentimes thought of the topics and got the personnel to come talk about it. What's called the talent, and coordinated all of this for all these ideas, which are timely and timeless. I'll just go through some discussions on a taxpayer bill of rights. In other words, we have a bill of rights. Why not a taxpayer bill of rights? Debates over a national sales tax and a fair tax, whatever that means. And we've already discussed the comedy issues. You had experts on residential neighborhood zoning and the unintended consequences there. You had some segments on youth rights and school choice, and homeschooling too, probably. Have you done a homeschooling one?
School choice.
And the debate over intellectual property, shared culture versus owned culture. You did a benefit for the Marijuana Policy Project.
Right.
We did a program on funding government through borrowing. What a surprise there. You did a segment on who owns the internet. Let's see what else you got. Oh, we did a debate on immigration policy. We libertarians in general like people and like immigration. You did a show on
And
that.
then there was the employment law.
Oh, the
Remember
unintended
this?
consequences of the employment laws. You did
employment
that with
laws.
Janet. You did that one, right?
All right, that's right.
And then we did the causes and effects of the Great Depression, a big change in the American
That's
federal
right.
state.
That's
And then you've also interviewed and had debates with libertarian candidates for office, both at the local
yes.
and national
And
level.
eminent domain. We discussed
Eminent domain in the Barclays Center.
And too bad that civil asset forfeiture wasn't a hot topic.
We should do one on that.
We should do a show
Yeah,
now.
don't forget that.
Yeah, now
Oh, and then
it's
we did a
become a
celebration
hot
of
topic.
Income Tax Day. That was a
Oh,
celebration.
right, that's right. We were at the post office.
And then solutions to the Child Protection Service.
Now, maybe you don't have in your list that Hardfire visited Occupy Wall Street.
Oh, that was a very, I use that in my, when I teach economics, I use Gary's Occupy Wall Street show to show how it got usurped by labor unions and left-wing economists who used Occupy Wall Street to argue for more taxes and more regulation. It's blaming the bailouts on regulation instead of just corrupt politicians. That was a good.
Oh,
you went on site to do that and
That's
went
right,
around.
That's
yeah.
right.
Let's
I
see.
had a very nice help from a very nice camera lady.
You're right. Gary's always had a good ability to attract people to work with him. But anyway, we should wrap it up. We're running out of time. Thank you for pointing that out. Gary Popkin, thank you for coming on the show and discussing the history of Hardfire, a little historiography, a little.
Pleasure talking with you.
And stay tuned for more Hardfire. Thank you.